Welcome back, everybody. We're doing the maintenance and lubrication on the Arex Delta Gen 2 today. No matter if you have the full-size compact or the X version, this is the video for you to get the thing cleaned and lubricated after your range trips or your long-term storage. Now, if you've not seen my original review on the Arex pistols, whether it's the L or the compact that I have, for an optics-ready pistol out of the box, they are an exceptional value. So definitely worth looking into, but since most of you are here, you probably already have one. Make sure you guys get subbed up, get belled up, turn the notifications down there to all on. And if at any point you like what's going on here, if you feel that I deserve it, give that video a like. We're gonna go ahead and get into the cleaning on this. If you wanna support the channel anyway, you can use any of those links down below for the cleaning supplies or any of that, or check out my Patreon. We're gonna get into cleaning the Arex Delta Gen 2 right now. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into cleaning the Arex Delta Gen 2 here. A couple things you're gonna need, even though the Arex comes with the cleaning kit, mine's buried in the garage somewhere. So you're going to need a good solvent. I like Breakthrough Clean. I have a little bit in this one because it's easier to use. Some patches or a cut up old dirty shirt, Cerva underwear, socks, whatever you want to use. Definitely a set of gloves, because anytime you're around chemicals, gunpowder, anything, even though a lot of this cleaner is green, no glove, no love. Okay, if it's a chemical, if it's on your skin, it's in you. So always protect yourself. A board brush and a good nylon bristled cleaning brush. Do not use metal brushes to clean these things. Then my lubricant of choice is going to be Lucas oil. They make amazing stuff for vehicles and for your pistol setups. So I'm gonna go ahead and glove up and we're gonna get started. All right, now that we are all gloved up, we're gonna go ahead, always remove the magazine or the feeding device first. Place that off to the side because we're not gonna need it. Lock the slide to the rear and physically and visually inspect to make sure there is no ammunition in there. Let the slide go forward, point it in a safe direction, pull the trigger, pull the slide back, little, just about 2-3 millimeters. Pull down on both sides of the slide lock, let it go forward, push it a little bit, and then just pull it right off to the side. For your recoil spring, push forward and up, pops right out. Same thing with the barrel, just pull down, push forward, and then pull right out to the back. We're gonna put both of these off to the side here. This is as far as you are really going to need to break this down for a field strip and cleaning. However, if you are going further and you want to get in here and see the slide parts and all that, if you're trying to get the extractor out of here, you got to take the plate off and pound that thing out, okay? It doesn't come out from the side, doesn't come out by wrenching on it. Take your optic plate off and you got to pound that extractor out. But let's talk really quickly about the areas you do not want to over lubricate or douse cleaner in there. Striker valley, striker block safety, breech face up in there where the striker comes through the breech right there. Do not go spraying a ton of cleaner or lubrication in there. Same thing with the trigger assembly block, the trigger group down in here or down in this area. Very light lubrication. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, what I like to do here is I like to get a couple squirts of the cleaner, and this is the only place I'll generally spray it right down in the bore like that. Just enough to get it all the way around there, and then I'll just kind of wipe the barrel in it like that to get any of that carbon on there. I will put it off to the side and I will let that cleaner sit and do its job. You do not need a ton of cleaner on your brushes, okay? Think about it like a paintbrush. Apply a little bit to your brush like that, and then we are gonna go to work. When it comes to the frame, you're just gonna go right over all of these areas, just like this, up under, ensuring that you're getting underneath the rails right there to make sure you can clean all that stuff out. Now this thing is going to tell you where it needs lubrication because you're going to see all of the shiny parts in here now that it's got a few rounds through it. So go ahead and clean this into your heart's content. Get a little bit down in there, all those metal parts where that carbon can build up, and along the sides of the trigger bar right there. You can clean this as much as you want or as little as you want. It does not have to be perfectly clean to function. Now, once you're done kind of doing that, I just wipe it down with a microfiber cloth. You can do whatever you want, and then I'll show you what I do with the cleaning patches as far as oiling and everything else. Now, I will generally run the microfiber up through the magazine well like this, just a little bit to make sure that you get any dirt or any built up carbon or any of that cleaner that's kind of, you know, stuck down in there. Just make sure you don't get it caught on your ejector right there, that pointy part, and then rip it. So just very lightly push that up and in, and that is really gonna be all you need to do to that. Now you can keep scrubbing until your heart's content. That is completely up to you. how clean you want it. And we're gonna do the same thing here on the slide. I will just get a little bit more cleaner, spray it directly on the bristles, because that's gonna be enough. And we are gonna pay really close attention to the rail areas right in here and make sure that we get all of that carbon out of there without over applying cleaner inside this thing. You know, make sure that that is good and clean in here, all through the rails. And again, you clean this as deep as you want. Up on the top right there where the barrel hood is gonna interface with the slide. And then a really good area to pay attention to is up in here on the breech face, and of course, up underneath the extractor edge right there to make sure there's no big carbon buildups in there, anything like that. And then I'll bring in some of these plastic cleaning picks that are really, really nice to use because they allow you to get in the small areas. And that's what I use the patches for, if I use patches raw or a cut up shirt. Again, we're just gonna wipe this down, get all the big stuff off. This thing doesn't have to be Inspector General clean. You know, we're not white gloving this. It just needs to be serviceable. So get all the big stuff off. Make sure we don't have any big chunks, especially under that extractor. Make sure everything looks good. And this is the perfect time to check the striker block. So checking that striker block safety as we push forward. Okay, you can hear it, but we should not see the striker go through the breech face until we push down on the striker block safety. And then, I know it's tough to see, but you can see it kind of poking out there now. So always double check that at this point. Now let's go ahead and get down to the barrel right here. Always use a nylon brush. You don't want to go using metal ones on this, and you're going to push all the way through and then come all the way back out. Okay, don't stop halfway. Just go all the way through, all the way out. Do this 4, 5, 6, 10 times, depends on how dirty your rig is, right? Keep going through until it looks like it's fairly clean. We'll go ahead, we will take this off because we're not going to need that brush anymore. And then we'll just clean the outside of the barrel. Just get around all these areas. Use the cleaner that's dripped all over the table, it's fine. Get all up in here, okay? Get where your recoil assembly goes in. Get under right here where that's gonna lock up on your lugs. And then of course, clean that nice polished feed ramp everywhere around the hood. You definitely need to pay close attention, okay, right here to that area. Reason for that is that's your loaded chamber indicator, and it needs to be free of carbon and everything else. If you see any chunks in there, knock those things off. Once you're good there, again, just go ahead, wipe that bad boy down. And now we're gonna run a couple of patches through here just to make sure we're good to go and nice and clean. And you'll probably see all the dirt and grime and everything else come out of this. And again, with a patch, run it all the way through and then all the way back out. And I kind of turn the patch different directions as I push it through. It's actually fairly clean. I did a pretty good job after cleaning it last time. And you can take a good look down the barrel, try to get you some light, and you'll be able to see kind of how clean it is right there. So again, clean it to your heart's content. Make sure there's no big chunks of carbon anywhere in there. Now, if you're going to store this for a long period of time, Arex says to run one patch with light oil on it. If you need to clean your magazines and you have the extended versions like this, you're just gonna pull down on that back edge, push forward, the magazine will come apart and clean it out. That's if you've got a lot of stuff up in there. If you don't, just knock the top off like this, wipe it off with your microfiber, and that's generally all you're gonna have to do. Do not apply lubrication to your magazines. That will affect the magazines pretty much forever. Now, if you are a neat freak, you can use these little plastic tipped in picks. What I like to do is just grab the cleaning patch and you can stick it up in the rail areas like that and just really get up in there and clean this thing and get all the stuff off. Now, this is if you're like super duper, you know, kind of neat freak kind of person, and you'll see pretty good amount of stuff still comes off even after the brush and the towel. So again, clean it to your heart's content, do whatever you want, but it does allow you to get up in those kind of recessed areas like that. You can just get in there, make sure you don't have any excess cleaner, any of that stuff going on. So do that all you want. Same thing I like to do up under the rails with patches or a shirt, since it's a little bit thinner than the microfiber so you can seem to get a little bit more material up in there, and it will be good to go. So I will go ahead and throw a quick picture up here of where Arex says to lubricate this. Very small amount of lubrication. Okay, what we're gonna do is put 1 drop on the back of the slide right in that area, right there, because as we put the slide on, it's gonna pull the lube all the way forward on the rails. Good drop on that side. Just kind of let that sit right there. Now we're gonna put a drop right there where that little circle is, right there. And then I just run a little drop across there like that. This is where it's nice to have gloves, because you're just gonna rub that on and kind of pull up to make sure that some of that gets underneath the rail. And you're just going to coat that area right there, just across the top. Now this is directly out of the Arex manual where it says to lubricate this thing. Put that down. As far as the barrel, you lubricate the lug area and the whole area around here where it makes contact with the slide. You can on the sides, Arex does not call for it. So again, I just like to put a drop or 2 of oil here. And we are gonna go ahead, rub this around all over the barrel. Now you want a light sheen, okay? Just like that. You do not wanna see oil dripping anywhere like that. I put a little bit up here because that's where it interfaces with the inside of the slide. And then we will put a drop in this area and kind of work it in like that. Everywhere where it's going to make metal to metal contact in these areas. So reassembly, so put 1 drop right there where you can see that contact is being made, right there, and just kind of rub it back and forth. All right, so we're going to go ahead and reassemble this. Barrel first, recoil guide rod assembly in here. All right, remember the Arex, you get it lined up with the rails like that, push it down, push it back. Now you do a functions check, ensure it's clear, point it in a safe direction, pull the trigger, hold the trigger back, cycle the slide, let the trigger go forward, and make sure it resets. At this point, just go ahead and wipe off any extra lubrication or oil on there, and you are good to go, and you have a clean, serviceable Arex pistol. Again, if you're looking for any of this stuff, I will leave links down below. Let's wrap this up. All right, well, that's what I've got for you today. Just make sure you clean these things either after your range trips or that long-term storage to make sure they are good to go. Again, if you want to support the channel in any way, you can check out Shall Not Comply for any of the shirts, the merchandise here for the channel. Use any of those links down below for that cleaning stuff. Always have cleaning supplies on hand. And then of course the Patreon if you want to check that out. And again, a huge thank you to all of my Patreons. Make sure you guys are subscribed, turn the notification icons on, and give the video if you liked, if you found it was helpful, or you just like what was going on here. You guys get out there and have some fun on the range. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, and I will see you on the next one.